Hey sippers, welcome back to another juicy gossip video. We all know Cardi B is struggling at this point with the album drop date because she has been promising her fans that she's going to drop the album, and it's been a year and a couple months thus far, and she was basically, contradicting herself. Her own fans is so mad at her, like they're dragging her on Twitter every day. Some of her own fans, they're migrating to Gag City. Like, they're leaving the Barty gang and they're going to Gag City. It shows that she never really had a real fan base. Not only that, this is what I also think. When you're dropping an album, you need a good album rollout. Like, you need good marketing strategy. You need some attention. And what I think is because Nicki is on a hiatus, Nicki's so quiet and low key. Cardi B, she don't really have a proper rollout. Normally she would beef with the Barbs and beef with Nicki Minaj when she has a project dropping. But the fact that Nicki has been so quiet, like, what is she gonna do? She can't pick on Nicki anymore because now people are going to know for sure that Cardi B is the problem. So I think she's struggling with a proper album rollout, getting the attention to drop her album because nobody's talking about her. Everyone is saying, girl, your music is flopping. You sound the same on every single track. Your time is up. You're beefing with Offset, wishing death on the man, talking crazy about everybody. You're always at a club shaking those silicones, girl, but you cannot drop the album. Linking up with Stefan Diggs and trying to make Offset jealous, always talking about your punani on the internet. No one is interested, girl. Every woman has a punani. We know what it could do. So at this point, it's getting lame. What else do you have to offer from your talent to your fans? And this is why, Nicki was saying to a lot of people, there's female rappers in this industry who's not passionate. They're just here for quick money. They're not really here because they have a passion. And I think they're the ones who's damaging this industry. Hence why Kanye West would have assumed or literally called her out as an industry plant, because he's like listening to her music and saying, oh, but she doesn't sound good. She doesn't sound like she's writing her raps. And if a person could come in this industry so easily without writing their raps, it means like someone hired that person to specifically do something. And everyone assumed that she was hired by Jay-Z or some other corporate giant to take down Nicki or to replace Nicki, because of course, we all know this music industry, they're not really fond of Nicki because Nicki's like a strong, powerful powerhouse, and she doesn't bow down to anybody. A lot of people ain't in Nicki's pockets. Anything that Nicki makes, as regards to money, that's hers. She doesn't have a bunch of men in her pockets collecting from her. She's not in no 360 deal. So they're all jealous of Nicki Minaj. And, sometimes I feel like men, especially in the corporate industry, they don't really like when women makes a lot of money. Like, it's somewhat intimidating. And I think Jay-Z wanted her to be signed to Roc Nation, and she declined. So he sees her like $1 billion profit, and he lost it. So I think he has a long-term malice and bad feelings for Nicki Minaj. So he's allegedly, recruiting these female rappers to come in to try and poison and stifle her career. And I think with Cardi B, like, being an exotic dancer back in the day, and then being on Love and Hip Hop as a reality TV star, I think people were watching her and seeing how desperate she was to, get a big blow up in this industry, because she always wanted to rap. And so they saw this girl and they saw how desperate she was. She had crooked teeth and she just looked like, she would just take an offer just because she wanted to make it out. So I think they preyed on her and just gave her a deal to say, this is what you're going to do. This is our offer to you. This is the money. This is what you're going to get from being in this industry. And she took it. Baby girl said, "Where's the pen? I'm signing." She took it. And that's my honest opinion. I don't think Cardi B was brought in this industry because she wanted to rap. I think it's for other purposes. And if you're a smart person and you're actually watching and, really observing, you could tell this girl cannot rap. And you know what? I love how smart Nicki is. Nicki really recognized after a while, like, hey, why am I getting so many attacks from this industry and Cardi B? Like, she's throwing a shoe at me. She's dragging me on the internet. I remember Cardi B dragged Nicki Minaj so bad in a video she posted on her Instagram back in 2019. And I was like, why is this girl behaving like that? What is your issue with Nicki Minaj? She said Nicki mentioned something about her child. And I'm like, but what, you heard that from Nicki specifically? Because, anyone could come to you and say anything just to spark some beef because people love entertainment. I think Cardi B just orchestrated everything to make Nicki look like a bad person. Like, hey, I need some attention on myself. I'm going to do what my label told me to do. And I'm going to drag Nicki Minaj because it's good for entertainment and it's good for my album rollout. And she dropped Invasion of Privacy. So I believe because Cardi B wants some attention, she's lurking on Nicki. And she's trying to spark and start some BS. One thing for certain, don't ever think you could come for Nicki Minaj and ignore the wrath of the Barbs. Like, don't ever dare you think you're going to drag or start an issue or problem with Nicki. And the Barbs, they're not going to put you in your place. And I think Cardi B's like terrified of saying anything, because she knows the Barbs, honey, they don't play. And they're going to drag her. They're going to talk about her. They're going to talk about her appearance, her surgery, how she looks. I remember the Barbs called Cardi B 11 Faces, guys. I do not endorse bullying. I am not here for it. Do not do it. But the Barbs, I'm just saying, they do not play. And I think Cardi B, she used to go back and forth with the Barbs, and now she stopped because she realizes that she's losing. You cannot go up against the Barbs and win. But it's safe to say Nicki knows her power. She knows she could go on a long hiatus and, she's protected. Her spot is still there. Like, it's reserved. She's not going anywhere. And she told so many people, even Lil Wayne said, Nicki will quit and retire when she wants to, but there's nobody in this industry who could kick her out. No matter how many times Jay-Z is going to try or Beyonce's team is going to try, because Beyonce acts as if she's a goody two-shoes, but I think she worships Jay-Z, and that's my honest opinion. Like, you and Beyonce could be friends, but if Jay-Z no longer likes you, she's going to be your enemy. That's who I think Beyonce is. Like, she's so fake. She is so fake to me. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me see those comments in the comment section. Leave a like for this video. Share if you care. And see you guys some other time. And thank you so much for always sipping with us.